My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and this interview is being done for Guitarist TV. Today we have it with us Sammy T, the lead singer, rhythm guitarist of the band Reog. Now, that's a great place, Sammy, I think, to start the interview off. The name of the band. Let's explain what is Reog.
So REOG, you can either call it REOG. Sometimes you spell it out like that. Sometimes we say it Reog.
Okay, Reog.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter how. Yeah, Reog. It doesn't matter how you pronounce it because for Spanish speakers, sometimes they say it Reoga.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter really as long as spelled out REOG and you
I
remember the
wasn't sure.
name.
That's why I asked. I'm like, is it
Yeah,
Reog? Is it Reog?
because sometimes we spell it out, all capital to
Yeah, yeah.
REOG. So that works.
And does the name mean anything specifically, or is that just something?
So the name is originally originated in Indonesian. That's an Indonesian name. It's actually a traditional Javanese dance. In this Javanese dance, there's a creature. The main character is a creature made out of tiger and peacock, and we
Yeah.
kind of like that balance. And we can relate it to our music. Heavy and yet melodic because the music is very angry, but the singer is very happy.
Yeah, yeah. You
That's
know,
how it is.
I love that because right there, like I said, that's the first thing I was asking. Okay, what's the name? What's that mean? It gets people talking, I think.
Yes,
And
that's the goal.
then once it gets people talking, um, it's more than just a name, cool band sound and band name. It actually means something, and people, you're actually kind of teaching people something, and that I dig
Yes,
stuff like that. You know.
yes. So that's part of the reason why I'm we're sticking with this weird name is because it creates this dialogue. Every time we go, it
Yeah.
creates this dialogue.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great place to start. Now, you guys are indeed an Indonesian metal band. Are you based out of Indonesia or?
We're actually I'm an Indonesian who live in Los Angeles. So the
Okay,
band is in Los Angeles and the songs are all in English, with the exception we actually released a song in Indonesian. It's sung by our previous singer, who's American. He doesn't speak any Indonesian at all, but so he pronounced it, by word and
yeah, yeah,
tried to do it that way. So we covered an Indonesian pop song and done metal way,
yeah.
and we play that song if we do sometimes get invited to play some Indonesian event, but the band itself is American, and we're operating in America. Uh, so yeah, it's just name, just like
Have you
again,
been in the States long, in all your life or
pretty
just
much, pretty much I ever since I go to college here in Oklahoma. So that's how
wow, yeah.
that's yeah, it's ever since, and I learned how to play guitar in Oklahoma. So so that's it's pretty much the product
But
of
you've been around. I
U.S.
mean,
culture.
even because you go to different parts of the United States, they're not all the same. Every state's different, and I
Exactly.
imagine Indonesia, where you're originally from, Oklahoma, Los Angeles, are all quite different.
Yes, yes. So yep, but yet if the music is so American. That's because even grew up in Indonesia. American music is ingrained in my head. It's all, I blame it all on Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue. That's
There you go. Yeah, it's great influences that. Um, Now, have you guys ever performed in Indonesia? Have you ever gone back home and performed there?
so we never perform, but we're actually in the process of doing a short tour in Indonesia. It's actually in the works, and it's gonna be this year.
And so, when was the band formed?
So the band formed back in '05. It started off from just myself doing demos. I was playing in a funk band at the time.
Oh,
So I
wow.
got, yeah, I was the guitar player, and then I switched to when the lead singer
Left.
left, I stepped out to the front and play and just sing. I dropped my guitar completely, but then I was like, I'm missing the metal. So I start doing demos by myself, and then once put together the band, and that becomes the first, let's say Mark 1
Okay.
of Reog.
And yeah, I was curious. You talked about playing in a funk band. Now, is that because you're into all kinds of different types of music? Is it a matter of just a musician needing a
So
gig? And
I do love all kinds of music. So what happened with that funk band, it's when I moved from Oklahoma to Los Angeles, I have a cousin who's a very badass bass player,
Okay.
and then he loves funk. I love heavy metal, but both of us love infectious grooves.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I bring the chunky the chunky guitars to the funk, and then
Uh,
that was the concept for that funk band. But then the heavy guitar is always loose in the recording. In
yeah.
live situation, I can do the chunk stuff,
There you
but
go.
with the
Now,
recording it doesn't
oh,
pan
that's
out. So
cool. And now you mentioned, I was curious, you mentioned that starting out as a guitar player. Were you always a singer or did you always want to be a singer? Talk a little bit about that transition.
so I always sing ever since probably when I was in junior high. My dad is a choir singer in church, so I know him singing, and he started teaching me how to keep a note and be in tune. So I always been singing. That's how I started. I had no ability to play guitars or an instrument, but then once I go to Oklahoma, Stillwater, Oklahoma, it got so quiet and lonely, and I
Yeah,
need to do something. So I
yeah, yeah.
start playing guitars.
And so you start playing guitar because, like you said, you were kind of bored in Oklahoma being all alone. When you're in college, you start meeting some of these folks that, hey, let's play
Yep,
music.
absolutely. That's how it started.
Or were you a music major or did you major something else in college?
No, I'm actually architectural major, so that's my day job in LA,
Oh,
an
hey,
architect.
wow. Talk about two polar opposite, but how cool is that you got something is not a lot of people have something to fall back on. You have a good paying day job, I assume, and then you do this for fun. And hey, if you can make money on the side, hey, there you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, yep. I'm so glad I got that finished and then able to pay the bills with that. So
You tell your mom and dad, hey, mom and dad, I do my music thing, but I got a real job too. Yeah,
that's the best thing about doing this. And you can tell that because of that, the music part is come out of pure love of it, passion.
yeah.
So
And so, as far as being the front man, the guy who writes a lot of lyrics in the songs, you tend to write from like personal life experiences, maybe something you read in the paper. What's your process usually?
all of the above, but it's the way we write songs, lyrics and stuff. It's like our single, our the first song of the last album is called Daily Grind, and that's gonna be also we're working on a compilation album.
Okay.
We re-record the the best stuff kind of, and and re-record them with this version of the band that we have now, uh, and record all the best ones that the crowd love to hear. And the leading single would be Daily Grind, and that's self-explanatory because it's really doing the day job kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
doing music on the side because you want to do it. So
Yeah. 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 I mean, so when do you think that might come out, the best of collection?
we're working on it right now. We're hitting a snag with the some of the tracking process right now, but it's going. We're trying to release that by summer, if anything.
That's a great thing to hear. But have something new like that to look forward as far as the fans now.
Yeah,
And I think too about releasing a greatest hits compilation. The thing about that is, because you probably got people that have been fans since day one. I mean, you got people just discovering the band now, and I think by putting out a compilation like that, for the people kind of just getting into the band, you say, okay, well, this is what
correct,
came before, and this you check this out, and we're still working on new music.
correct. So that's the reason why too, because every album that we got three albums in the. If you check out our Spotify or YouTube, Reog music, whatever, and you'll see like the albums have, because every album got different members. That's the thing,
Okay,
and then on the first album, myself was one of the singers. We did double vocals with the previous guitar players who's
okay,
also sing lead. So that first album have different singers. Second album got different singer, and the third album, which I become the lead singer, also have a different singer. So we feel like all these songs are great songs, but the fans cannot go back and relate to what they're seeing in front of them. So
Yeah.
we decided, you know what, let's re-record it with us right now in the band, and then and release it as a as a the new version. That's how it
Yeah,
is.
when the original versions came out, I'm sure they were great for that time, and people love the songs. But I hear what you're saying. So let me ask you, in re-recording some of these songs, or I guess most of them, um, is the thought process okay? Let's go in and just this band, let's like re-record those songs note for note, or do you kind of take liberties and say, let's make these updated and let's kind of do it
Uh,
how we
I
want to.
I never believe in doing note for note.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
because I know how to play those parts, but
yeah, yeah,
the other guys have their own flavors, and those flavors are awesome. So it's like
yeah.
I let them do justice to the song, and they put their own flavors. If you listen to the songs, the new version of it compared to what's before, it's night and day because
I
it's
imagine
it's
so
just
because
rocking.
any band, you go back and you listen to something even after it's been released or out a couple of years, and you always probably think, we could have done that better. We just taken a little more time or this
Uh-huh.
that, and you're getting a chance to do that. And I think too by having these new guys that are in the band now come in and kind of put their spin on those classic tunes, it gives them maybe a little more feeling that those songs belong to them too, or that they get a chance to contribute somewhat.
Yep. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because the players, I mean, all the guys now in the band, like they've been with the band now 7 6 7 years, so it's
So
probably
that's
longer than any previous member. So we're itching to re-record these songs because we own these songs already now. The version that we play now is the version that they will hear.
And so, are you guys signed to a label? You release the stuff independently?
We released the song independently, so we're actually shopping.
Yeah.
Would love to be on a label, but we'll see. Nowadays, it's not the end
I mean,
the
that's the
end
thing,
of the day.
there used to be a time, at least when I was growing up, where for a band to have any kind of success, you'd have to almost be signed to a label. It's not like that anymore. So, I mean,
No,
even a garage band has a lot better chance of getting heard these days if they can record a decent enough demo or something and put it out there,
exactly.
put up on your Facebook, see how people respond. I mean,
Yep.
it's amazing, but
and
again,
and be able to carry it live too. That's very important.
yeah,
So
yeah, and let's talk about the power of the internet. I mean, I'm sure you guys are on Facebook, on the internet. Must
yeah,
have people messaging you um, every day about how they love the band, or even around different parts of the world where you haven't even stepped foot in. To think, hey, somebody's sitting on the other side of the world playing our song right now. That's got to be pretty amazing.
oh yeah, it's the best because especially these people around the world asking you about the songs that you write in your bedrooms. So it's
I
great.
mean, yeah, and the thing I think not only are those your people and your fans, so to speak, but they're the ones giving you an honest opinion. I mean, see, that's the thing about being signed to a label. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, of course, if you get on a great label, you get a great deal. Maybe you get some tour support. Maybe you get some real serious push for
Bank
your album.
loans.
But on the flip side too, um, you don't have a guy maybe at a record label telling you, no, Sammy, love the new stuff you wrote, but I don't hear a hit. Go write me
Uh-huh.
something more radio friendly. You can be more in control of your destiny or your
Correct.
career.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's how it is. So again, that that part is we don't take that for granted because
yeah,
we
yeah.
can do whatever that we want and then keep the quality to what we want, you know. But on that topic that you're talking about, the way that we realize is that those labels are pretty much just like a bank
Yeah,
giving you loans. That's
yeah,
how it
yeah,
is.
sure. I mean, and
So
like I said, the fans, would take the time, I think, to message you, on your Facebook page or whatever. They're a lot more honest than some guy to label in a suit. I mean, because let's say your album, you're on a popular label and your album's selling, a million copies, whatever, doing really well. But then, a so-called sophomore jinx, you release the next album, doesn't sell nothing like the first album. Oh, we really loved you guys when you were selling, but it's time to move on. We're going to drop
yep,
you, you know?
yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah,
Yeah. So we are very hard on ourselves in terms of the quality of our songs. The songwriting part is one of one of the grueling process actually. But we love doing it, and then we want
Sure.
to give you quality music because the music that we play is the music that we want to hear. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
You know.
I was reading on the band's bio. It said something about each of the members of the band are from like four separate corners of the world. Does that mean you guys live in different parts of the world, or you all
We live in different parts of LA, and then we came
like?
from all over the part of the world too. So from East Coast, from Midwest, from Indonesia,
Yeah.
and but we meet in LA, and then we make these great music together.
And then when it's time to get in that creative mode and start writing, does the whole band get together? Does it usually start with a riff? Do you usually start with lyrics? What's the process?
I usually start with a riff for us because the riff is the ultimate hook.
Yeah,
There,
yeah,
if there's no riff, there's no songs. That's how it is,
yeah.
and it can come from anybody in the band, but usually the way we like to do it is because I have to sing and play at the same time.
So you got to feel it,
Whatever
right?
riff, what exactly, whatever riff that we collected, I should be able to do both playing and singing at the same time, and
Yeah,
then doing both convincingly.
yeah, yeah.
So, at the end, we mold it out together, but I have to be able to do that's I guess good limitation to have
Yeah.
because sometimes uh it actually make the riff simpler, more singable, more to the point, and not too overindulgence in doing things you don't need. So be more effective with the riffs.
And I understand that you are the front man, the lead singer. Um, but how do you and the other guitar player go about splitting parts? Is he primarily just the
Very
soloist?
easy. So he's such a great lead guitar player. Richard is a very accomplished musician. He got master's degree in classical guitars.
Wow.
So he take all of the usually I take care of the riffs and hold the bottom end of it, and then he would sprinkle sweets on top. So that's how we divided it. Very easy.
People don't realize maybe that it's very important to have a great lead player in the band that can do that. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people realize the importance of a good rhythm guitar player
Yeah.
like yourself. I mean, two guys that immediately come to my mind: James Hetfield from Metallica,
James Hetfield from Metallica, Scott Ian from Anthrax. Those are the
Malcolm
two.
Young from
Malcolm
ACDC.
Young. Yep.
Yeah.
So gotta
So
hold gotta
you're
hold
in good
that
company, my
rhythm
friend. Yeah,
steady. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
That's how it is. Old school.
Yeah, I mean Malcolm Young. Again, I realized a couple of years back when he died. I mean, it's amazing as much as people love the way Angus does his
Oh,
thing. I mean, he was just as important to the band's sound.
absolutely.
Yeah, and and,
Absolutely.
and I don't know if you had a chance to hear the latest ACDC album. What's amazing is he does not play a lick on the album, but his nephew stepped in for
It's
him.
everywhere.
He wrote a lot of those riffs with Angus before he got sick.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that even though he doesn't play a lick on that album,
It's all
because he
over the
wrote those
album.
riffs, you can feel the influence.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah. And so another thing I was reading that on your Facebook page that I think a couple of months back in November, you guys had taken part in something that was called LA Metal Burning Metal Fest
Yeah.
with
LA
Matt
Burning Fest.
Wyatt and Ross the Boss, Tim Rip Owens.
That was a lot of fun. That was an amazing night.
And so, how did you get to take part in such an event?
So it was interesting. So we approached the organizer way back when we heard about the our friends from Texas, Jesse Kills, gonna play the show. So so we contact Jesse Kills first, and then they said like contact this guy, and
Yeah,
I contact the guy, and then we end up and they said like, oh, there's no more slot, but we'll keep you in mind.
yeah, yeah.
So as fate had it, it's like one band dropped out. They
Wow.
put us in. They put us in, and not just that, because of one thing or another, we're supposed to be opening the show on second stage. We ended up opening the show on the big stage. So it's all by chance, by fate.
Yeah,
So
sure. That's faith right there, kind of playing a hand there.
yep.
And what was it like? Because again, you're with all these like metal legendary artists. And
Oh,
I don't
here's
know if you
it.
want to say you guys are the new kids, but probably of all the bands there, probably one of the bands not as known, but I bet after taking part in an event like that, more people are starting to take notice of you guys.
Oh yeah, immediately it's funny because when we because we feel like we're the newer guys in the bill. We
Yeah,
came in early, but everybody could see that we're also keeping it professional.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
the reason why we got bumped out to the main stage is because when everybody were not ready was not ready, and somebody asked who's ready to play right now, it's Reog. Reog was ready to go. So they said like, why don't you start playing in the big stage? I said, we'll do
okay,
it.
sure, why not? Yeah,
And we actually got introduced. The intro before our set was done by Sean Peck of the Three Tremors. So
oh
he's introduced our band, and then uh, as you know, Ripper Owens is also
yeah,
part of the Three Tremors, and then he's hung around the stage and watch us play, and then just to see Ross the Boss sitting right there, and then the guys from the band Bitch is
yeah,
also there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was good. It was good.
Yeah, I mean that, and would you say that was one of the bigger gigs you guys have played to date, or
Yes, I would say that's one of the more colorful one because it's just a great night overall, and things that wasn't expected to be playing in the big stage with
and then
the main stage with
I
them.
would think too. So like, being that you were one of the first bands to go on, do you hang around the rest of the night, and watch other bands go on
Pretty
stage?
much the whole night. Pretty
Yeah.
much the whole night.
And what's
Looking at
that like? I mean, were you kind of watching from backstage? Were you like in the room watching them?
we're watching right by the stage.
Yeah.
Just look at these big bands slay and do how they do. It's great. There's a reason why those bands are, like Riot have been forever. This is
Yeah.
Riot 5, but still they're they're one of the earliest
Like,
power metal.
I've interviewed Sean Peck many times over here. He's a great talent. I mean, you mentioned, okay, probably what he's known for the longest is Cage, and now he's got the Three Tremors. Um,
Yes.
he's got a band, Death Dealer, with
Death
Ross
Dealer.
Sabas. The two of them get
Correct.
together, and Tim Ripper Owens, like you said. And so each of those bands are different in their own right. Because if you're going to do
Yes.
something different, why is he going to form another band? If it sounds just like Cage, right?
Yep.
And what
Yep.
Sean was telling me, like a lot of people tell you, the pandemic and all the lockdowns, for a lot of people, couldn't do nothing. But he's telling me, okay, what I did, I got my next 5 or 6 albums already in the can. I mean, people took advantages. So how did the pandemic affect you guys? I mean, obviously you didn't get to go out and play a lot, but did you just spend time writing songs or what?
We do both. So just before pandemic, we found a new drummer,
Oh, great.
and just before the pandemic, we didn't know there was going to be pandemic. We found a new drummer.
Yeah.
We booked a bunch of shows, probably 10, and
Yeah.
then this thing hit, and then all those shows canceled one by one, right? And then during those times, there's one studio that opened for us to rehearse, and we keep going there every week, like it's regular, like a day. We're probably the only bands that playing every week there
Oh,
during the
wow.
pandemic, and we were able to bring the new drummer up to speed. Uh, John Asher is a great addition to the band. He's been in the band now 3 years,
How
since
did you
the
guys
before
find
the
it?
pandemic.
I mean, did he approach you because he found out you guys were
He
auditioning?
approached us. We auditioned several drummers, and he's the one who got the goods and who got the looks and who got the willingness to do it and the creativity and then all the willingness to do it. So
And
we're
when you
totally
guys hold an
charged.
audition, you're looking for a drummer or a guitar player or whatever. What's the process? Like you said, okay, he reached out to us, but is it a process of like, okay, we're gonna pick 5 or 6 guys and we'll just pick the best one, or is it more of like we're gonna pick the best 5 or 6 people, but you
Yeah,
know,
we try every single one of them personally one by one because being able to play is one thing,
yeah,
but what's more important than that is for us to be able to hang because you only let's say if we go on tour,
yeah,
we got to hang out with this guy 22 hours and then
yeah,
we
sure,
play with him two
yeah,
hours. So
yeah,
that is the huge part. If we cannot hang with this person, there's anything else doesn't matter.
yeah. And so, Sammy, what's currently going on with you guys? I mean, you said you play pretty much locally here in LA.
Yeah.
Um, you plan to like go anywhere else, or does it depend on how that
So
music does?
we're we're gonna play a couple of we're actually playing the Wacken Festival Battle of Bands, the
Oh
chance to
wow,
play the Wacken. Uh, so we're concentrating on that while we're tracking too. So that's why we don't really take any
time off.
many shows right now because
Yeah.
of that. Those two between tracking and concentrating on playing this sort of like battle of the bands or whatever. And also the couple of tours, one is regional and then one is international, as I said in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
to go to Indonesia. So we're concentrating on these things for this year.
I think that's why when you do a gig like the Metal Fest one we were talking about, for example, or the Battle of the Bands coming up, um, I think that's why you guys do shine because you're telling me like even just all the rehearsal that goes into it,
Correct.
and
Correct.
like you said at the last Metal Fest we were talking about in November that took place. Um, First of all, they tell you initially, oh well, we'll keep you in mind, and then you get that call, okay, we need you guys because the other band dropped out.
Yep.
Then you get to the gig and nobody else is ready to go on stage but REOG.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're ready. We're ready.
you're
All the guys are there.
creating a reputation that these guys are primed and ready to go. They're
Yep.
and I think that's a good thing. You can only go up from here. So you say the greatest hits collection or whatever the compilation that should be out around summertime.
It's about summertime. Yes, that's the goal. That's the goal.
And do you think you guys will to promote that, like put out any music videos or anything?
Yes, there's actually plan of filming
Oh,
one of the videos in Indonesia. That'd be fun.
that'd be
That'd
fun.
be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And that ought to be a great show. Going back home and playing for the fans there for the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
And then when you guys do record, like, is there a home? Does everybody kind of record their parts separately in their home studios? Do you all get in a room together and record, or what's that?
So recording nowadays, it's easier to do it at home.
Yeah,
So we track in our homes. We created like a basic track, and then we just send it to everybody, and we compile it. And
it's pretty amazing that you don't even have to be in the same room now, and it sounds
yeah,
like you were. Yeah, yeah.
and the
And
quality is excellent. It's like the technology really improved that you wouldn't be able
yeah,
to tell whether it's in your bedroom or in a posh studio. So
yeah. I mean, hey, whatever works, right? And
yep.
and that's a great way to talk about finances for a minute to save money. I mean, it's amazing because I was talking to somebody about just today that you have these bands that go in professional studios and they spend millions of dollars just to get that sound or whatever. And he was telling me like he records some stuff like just on a home recorder in his back home studio, and he said it sounds just as good. And I said, yeah, if I
Yep.
listen to the record, you never know. Yeah,
Yep. Yep. It's amazing. It's really amazing, especially for myself who's done the traditional one, mic and amp and everything, and then all you cannot you got to do everything, from front to finish. It's the new technology allows you to just with your laptop straight to the board, and the sound would be as good, if not better, than miking an amp.
I mean, even doing the interview, you got a mic in front of you. I mean, it looks real professional there.
There you go.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so that's you put off that air, that you really take this serious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I guess the other thing I want to ask you, when it gets time to do new music after the compilation comes out, you guys are started. Have you already started writing? And is it about? Do you think after that will you release like a song at a time? You maybe put out an EP. What's your thought there?
So after this hits out, the greatest hits,
Yeah.
I call it greatest bits because we got no hits. So so we actually have during those pandemic days where we're
Yeah.
jamming at the rehearsal space, we wrote a bunch of songs. So we actually have another album coming up worth of an album of songs that just we so happy with these new songs too. We just play them live as part of live shows,
I
and
love that. You say not the greatest hits, greatest bits, because that implies exactly what it is. That the diehards and the fans that go to the shows, those are the songs they know and they love to hear. Um, and you're introducing new fans to maybe those songs that have never heard it before. So that's fun, and I love to hear that you've got that attitude of thinking full length album, because not too many bands do these days. A lot of bands are like, you know what? Why record new music? Nobody's gonna buy it, and CDs aren't selling. But you're still doing your thing, and I love that.
But for this one, I think it has to be an album because it's a collection.
Oh, sure. Well, Sammy, I want to say I really enjoyed getting to know you. I'll be real honest, I never heard about the band until your publicist reached out to me, and that's why you got a publicist like that. He's great at
There
what he
you go.
does. So I will
Yep.
give a shout out to the Lord of PR.
There you
He
go.
knows who he is. And I'll just say you're welcome back anytime, Sammy. In fact, next time we do this in a couple of months, maybe we can talk specifically about the music and some of the songs. But
Let's
I wanted
let's
to
do it.
spend today kind of getting to know you and kind of allowing you to tell your story. And I think we accomplished that. So you take care, my friend. And the interview we just did, it should be going up in the next week. I will be sure to let you know the minute it goes up. Please feel
Okay.
free to share it with everybody. We love that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate
Hey,
your
take
time.
care. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.